All right, so in this video, I will be going over how to integrate ACF into your WP rig install. So first thing first, you got a nice fresh WP rig install up. All right, uh, so I went ahead and named the WP rig dev, and we're doing this in local. So here's my local uh, stuff right there. First thing first, we're going to want to change is our config file. So what I like to do is just kind of copy and paste this in here and then delete everything I'm not going to use. So um, definitely going to get rid of this. They don't like any ending commas. So and uh, we're going to want to change proxy URL. So our proxy URL will be wp-rig.acf.local, and Morton goes over how to correctly configure all of this in one of the earlier videos on the WP rig site. But yeah, we're going to take our port number and our bypass port, rig, ACF, because you can't keep that the same. Yeah, rig, name will change. Dante H. My namespace title is going to be WP rig ACF. Uniform. All right. So once we save that up, we're going to go into the command line here. You can hit that by hitting Control the tilde, and then we're going to go ahead and run the installs to make sure that our our node packets and our composer packets will go in. All right. It looks like everything kind of installed correctly. When it's all done, you should see a new node modules folder, and a new vendor folder. When we go back into our site now, we always want to make sure that the theme is activated. But when you activate the theme, it should look like it's still pretty broken. So after we get every node modules and the composer installed, back to Visual Code, close that. Back to Visual Code, and we got to make sure that our proxy URL, our bypass port is correct. Then we just run npm run dev, and this should compile everything and spit out the page so that it doesn't look quite as broken anymore. All right. So this is how it started. But when we run npm run dev, it should like now to refresh and but this is with browser SQL. All right, now we know that it's running correctly. So first thing first, what we're going to do is go ahead and make a new component. This is also hit on a previous video that Morgan kind of went over, but we're going to go over it again. So when we get into the ink folder here, we're just going to create a new folder, and I like to just call it ACF. And when we do that, we're going to want to create a new file. We're going to name it component.php. Right. So when we do that, we're going to go ahead and want to just copy and paste quite a bit of just pretext of what you need for every new component that you add. I'm just going to go ahead and copy that and paste it. So I won't be needing any of this. It's pretty custom to the AMP integration. So I'm just going to delete all the way up to the initialize folder, to the initialize function. And since we're not going to be tapping into the template tags, we're just going to take off the template component. Make sure our spacing is correct. All right. So when you do this, you want to make sure that you go ahead and remove and change, uh, where it's going to be all the right spots. AMP is yeah, ACF support. Right here is where you will want to put kind of what this new class, what this new component does. Add ACF support to thing. And we're going to go ahead and change in a little bit, but I want to finish changing this up. Yeah, and this is going to be completely, but it's going to be a bit different. Go ahead and delete these as well, and we can go ahead and delete that. We're going to go ahead and keep add action because we pretty much use add action in every component. All right, now to change this, we're going to want to find out, the ACF support theme, ACF options. So go to ACF add option, and in here, it's going to show us pretty much the code we're going to need to create the new options page for the WordPress dashboard. So the easiest function is just to do this. Functions exist, ACF add options page, then ACF, then you add the ACF add options in this one. This is a bit of a customization. Once you get more comfortable, you can kind of head more into that. But right now, we're just going to do this. And looking back, I'm going to go ahead and we're going to add that in here. That way, it's a bit of a link to refer back to whenever if somebody that's not specifically you or later on you come back and refer back to the code. Right. So you want to put a comment here, add admin options page. And we're going to want to create a function. Make sure I'm not. Okay, cool. Add ACF. And this is going to be pretty much just called right here. And I'm going to cheat a little bit and grab the after setup. So this is basically whenever you install the theme, it's going to run this code. So I'm just going to copy, paste, steal this. So we're going to just check that. Oops. There we go. And then from there, we can just pull it. And very specific. There we go. No more red. All right. Now that it looks like everything should be working correctly in here, what we're going to do is now going to go ahead and instantiate that. Wow. So we're just going to go down here and new ACF component. and we want to end it with the comma. Oops, the comma. Now when we go back here, yep, and we're in our back. Oh, also the next thing we want to do is add ACF. So there. Now let's try this. All right. Next thing you want to make sure that you have a fresh copy of Advanced Custom Fields Pro. Once that is installed, you can go down here. You can now see that there's an options page. Right now, there's nothing in there, but you can go ahead and create a custom field for it and create create your options page. And then you can put whatever you need in there and just maybe kind of whatever you need to be. But that is how you make the option page with WP Rig.